Hashem, we're going to start with page 205, erasing with the intent to write. Erasing with the intent to write. So the objective of this Av Melacha is to erase writing of a durable nature in order to prepare the surface for new writing. Activities prohibited with this Melacha include erasing or obliterating. Hello, Max. How you doing? Baruch Hashem. We're on page 205. So activities prohibited within this malacha include erasing or obliterating writing that is durable by rubbing, smearing, etc. But it's only really prohibited if you're intending to rewrite it. That's the biblical prohibition. Okay. So law number 3 here states, Chazal also prohibited any erasures, even if not for the purpose of preparing space for new writing. So you're prohibited from removing letters or numbers that are attached to some material, such as clothing or a curtain. Okay, so Max, maybe read to us this footnote here. Hold on one second. Footnote 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Opening a parochet with lettering on it. If the parochet is made of 2 seconds, you should take care to construct it so that any words inscribed on the parochet are not parted as it is opened.
I never even thought of this, as I never realized that this was an issue, because it's always seemed to me that the parochet is completely different. It's not really a sentence, but now they're saying it's an issue. Well, I never was in a shul where it was connected via the curtains. But I guess but I could see how it would be possible. So you have to make sure to make the parochet so that any words are not parted as it's open. Otherwise, you're taking out the Torah on Shabbos and you're committing a violation of Shabbos. Okay, go on. But no, it's still permitted. Go on.
If it was constructed so that a word is divided as the parochet is open, Rav Moshe Feinstein, Zichron Bracha, ruled that it is still permitted to open and close the parochet on Shabbos, since the letters are not joined together. However, he suggests that it's best not to part the curtains.
No, it is best to part.
Best to part the curtains somewhat before Shabbos.
So that's a crazy thing that your parochas could be a violation of Shabbos. Rav Moshe Feinstein says to open the parochas before Shabbos a little bit, so it's not completely connected. Okay, read the next one, Max. You may not.
All right.
4. No, law number 4. It's Shul 5.
You may not tear or cut through writing in order to open a sealed letter or envelope, a sealed food wrapper, or a sealed wine or whiskey bottle. You are permitted to open and close a book that has letters or words stamped on the edges of the pages along its side.
You may not tear or cut through writing in order to open a sealed letter, a sealed food wrapper. There's a big thing. Like a lot of these things have writings on them, so you have to be careful. So, I mean, especially like the sugar packets, or it's like this impossible. It's almost impossible to open it. Let's look at the footnote on law number 2. Opening a book. You see that page 206, footnote 2? You want to read that, Max?
Yeah. Opening a book with lettering on the edges. Most authorities do not consider opening a book with lettering on the edge of the pages to be subject to the prohibition of writing or erasing, because it is made to be open and closed and the letters remain intact. So there the issue is that the letters are not broken, and that's the way it's made. But still, it is erasing, but okay. We'll read next law number 5. You should not cut a cake that is decorated with coloring in the form of letters or designs in a way that spoils that lettering or those designs. Okay, so then you have the problem. Let's say you have a happy birthday cake. How do you do that on Shabbos? How do you do that, Max? So this is what we're saying. You can't cut through the letters. So if it was cut before Shabbos, you can move a piece, even if the letters or designs are broken up. If it's cut, but if it's not cut, you have an issue. Here, Aryeh, take a book here. Aryeh. Oh.
Yeah. So you have to be careful with that. So what do? You can't cut it. Go on. Go on.
If the lettering are made of the same ingredients as the cake or of sugar, honey, jelly, chocolate, and similar non-durable foods, you may cut the cake without regard for the letters or designs.
Wait, if the letters are made of the same ingredients as the cake, of sugar, honey, jelly, chocolate, then it's not an issue. But if they're made from icing, then it's an issue. But you can eat it, because this is eating it, erasing it. So why, if you're eating, it's page 206, we're reading now. Why is it not a problem of erasing if you're eating the cake? Why is that not a problem? You're not allowed to erase, you're not allowed to cut through a letter on Shabbos. So let's say it's happy birthday is written on icing. That's an issue. But why can you eat it? So he says you can, because obviously you can.
Because you're not going to write anything instead of it. It's gone into your stomach.
So even if you cut the happy birthday, you're not writing anything instead of it. So that's because he says it's not an issue there. But let's see footnote 4 here. Max, read footnote 4 here.
Cookies or cakes with letters or designs, you are permitted to cut or break cakes or cookies baked.
Here, Ellie Bear, sit right here. So you're permitted to cut or break cakes or cookies. Okay, let's say you have cookies that you write in the letter of the alphabet. So can you cut through it? Can you eat them or break them? That's okay. It's not a problem. Or let's say there's a cookie that has a trademark on them. What's a trademark on a cookie? What? Oreos have a trademark? Here, grab a Ellie Bear. You see these books over here? You mind getting a couple more? Yeah, they're right straight ahead.
And in Israel, it's actually not uplifted, but ingrained in the Petit Bear biscuit.
Yeah, so that's the same idea. So you have the trademarks in them. So they write here, as indicated above, the general practice be lenient only if the letters are part of the cookie, but not if they're added with icing. For those who are strict, it should be noted that since their poskim will allow cutting cakes with lettering outright, you do not have to refuse a piece of cake if it's been cut for you. Oh, Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. But there are some, I mean, to me, it does seem like it should make sense to, yeah. Alex, you're asking a question? Oh, 206, page 206. So you have to be careful. So there are some who allow it, but you have to be should be aware of it. I mean, it doesn't seem to me like it's erasing, but it really is erasing. But then if it's erasing, then why is eating it not erasing? Okay, let's go on now. We're page 207. Oh, this is a big one. Arya, you read. Building 207.
The objective of this halacha is to construct, erect, add to, or assemble a structure. Activities prohibited within this halacha include building a permanent structure on the ground constructed of wood, stone, brick, and mortar, or other building materials. Preparing or improving the ground or whatever is attached to the ground by digging or filling a hole or leveling the ground on the light for the purpose of building or habitation. Repairing, improving, or adding to the structure including hanging the floor on fingers, resetting a window, making a hole in the wall, opening a hole in the floor, or knocking a nail into the wall.
Okay, so the objective of this malacha, you're not allowed to build. You're not allowed to construct wood or stone, brick, mortar, or other materials. Okay, this is a problem. But now, what's included within this tolada? Within this as a tolada of it. We're on page 207 here. Eitan, please read. Also included.
Also included within this malacha are erecting a permanent tent. Even if not attached to the ground, joining two boards or pieces of wood together, whether with nail or glue, or by interlocking them in such a manner that they remain joined. Setting site in a printing press, taking a vessel from earth, clay, glass, or other materials, and assembling parts of the vessel or an implement, as for example, inserting a handle with an axe or
Okay, so this is a lot of things which actually building is very relevant, and we have to be sensitive to it. So let's look at the footnote 1 there. Anybody here ever built a fort with their blankets on Shabbos? So maybe this is an issue. Look at footnote 1, Alex. Please read it for us, Alex.
Building a blanket fort.
some prohibit building a blanket fort, which is a blanket placed over chairs. However, it would seem that you can be lenient for the following.
Okay, I just want to say he's going to saying like you could be lenient, but I heard from poskim who are not lenient on it, who are strict here because it seems like you're building. So let's hear his reasons why it's lenient. Go on.
Although there is a rabbinic prohibition of erecting a temporary tent, building structures that cannot stay up on their own indefinitely, according to some poskim, do not fall into the law as well.
So they can't stay up on their own. So some say it's lenient. Okay, go on.
Therefore, haphazardly throwing blankets over chairs could not be considered bona according to this reason.
Okay, that would be like common sense. You're not really building anything. You're putting a blanket over a chair. And it can't last, I think, clearly. But even temporary building is a problem. So
what does it mean it can't last? Like, so at what point is it like what is there like a time frame? So if you build a really good blanket fort that could last, then what?
well, then it will be an issue. So if you're building a really good big,
That's the whole idea of a building.
So intention, no,
What?
intention and material.
I don't know that intention is relevant here. I don't know that intention is relevant. That's a good question. I mean, if you're in, because he says here that even if, as we're going to get to paragraphs 5 and 6, even a temporary structure is going to be problematic. So that's why a lot of poskim are strict here. But we could check his footnotes, but it's a lot of people are. There are some people who are lenient, but a lot of people are strict here, and see, it's like an activity that little kids love to do, but when you start teaching them about Shabbos, you could, I know that one person said to me that he was told don't do it, and this guy is very careful.
That's actually the distinction that Rav Melamed has, where it's gil chinuch, they should start avoiding it, but you don't go in and start yelling at your kids if they're.
Well, that's always the case. We should never start yelling, but so Rav Melamed also doesn't allow it. Good Rabbi Yosef, he's told us what Rabbi Melamed says. Panine halacha, one of the most important contemporary poskim. What were we going to ask, Max?
I just have a question in terms of like for a temporary structure, it seems like it especially like outside of a temporary shelter, like it has a use of you getting out of the weather. Does it like your blanket fort being inside isn't really like, does that have any?
No, we saw that there's a lot of issues that even if it's not like, as you'll see, like that building is not necessarily having anything to do with outside or necessarily function, but just building the material, as like we saw in all these examples, is problematic. And there are some who say, well, look at footnote 2 there, just so we do this and we'll stop. Here, Asher, read footnote 2. Playing with building blocks.
Playing with building blocks. A child may play with building blocks, similar toys where the pieces are placed on top or alongside each other, or loosely interconnected, but are not screwed or tightly joined together. The adult may help the child as well.
Right. So it's okay if they're not connected. But a lot of these blocks nowadays, they have very sophisticated ways of connecting them. And I'm curious, he doesn't mention Lego, but Lego would seem to be a problem to me. If anybody wants to quickly look it up. Does Rabbi Melamed talk about Lego? Does he talk about Lego? Lego?
Maybe Duplo, but not Lego. You can't put anything. It has to be a 4 tfachim by 4 tfachim. So
first of all, they have Lego that's big for sure.
Right,
for
but
sure
you're not going to ever build something that's 4 tfachim is like 12 or 13 inches.
They have Lego pieces that are that big, but anyway, you build it and it becomes that big. Let's see what he says. I mean, somebody look it up.
I will check.
Lego say, but
also, if I remember correctly,
seems to me it's problematic from this.
Shmirat Shabbat Kilchata, there was a difference between the first version and the second version.
Okay,
about
good.
Lego. That was one of those things that they changed.
Yeah, corrected. All right, we'll stop here. Anybody check it? Anybody check the Lego? Okay, we'll go to now. Bring out your Chumash and we'll study Chumash with the Rash.